So we're going to do compression, and we're going to look at compression in the areas that people generally have those areas of, remember we talked about the knots, we called them knots, so there might be some round areas, and what else did we say we might find? Some more stringy ridges. Okay. Where are the areas you think you might find those?
Around the shoulder blades.
Around the shoulder blades. Any idea what kind of muscles that we might find there that are in trouble?
Upper trapezius.
We might find some in the upper trapezius, we might find some in the mid trapezius, we might find some in the lower trapezius, we might find some in the rhomboids. So actually around the scapula is a great area to find some, and I've found some already. So, no problem at all. So, but what were you saying, Ollie, about sometimes it feels like bone and you're not sure?
Yeah.
So how do you find out whether it's bone?
Just go around your scapula and find the edges.
Yeah, so find the edges of the bone. So if you're not sure, I mean, we're quite lucky with Vicky because you can actually see the inferior angle of that scapula already, okay? But if remember what I said about using your fingertips, and this time a bit like you did with the sheet and the towel, start to just use your fingertips to feel the edge there. What we also have a guide on is the direction of the fibres, don't we? We kind of know how muscles lie on the body now. So you can have a pretty good idea if you know where the trapezius muscle is. You know where it is. Oh, look, there it is. And guess what? As I go over there, we've got fair areas. If you come in very close with that camera and come in yourselves, if I go over it, can you see what happens? Yeah, so I've got now a little bit of a ridge here. Haven't I, Vicky? Yeah. And I'm feeling that ridge all the way along. And what I'm noticing is that this area here is probably at its thickest. So notice how I'm using that middle finger there to just do a little bit more pressure, and I'm going to check in with her. How are you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that in any way tender?
No.
Okay, I'd be very surprised if it's not at all. So, but we can certainly look at that one. I'm just going to go in a little bit with thumb. Tell me where it's tender. Yeah, there it is there. I can feel it now. So she said it wasn't, but you know what? I had a feeling there was something in there that was. But I had to, did you notice I had to change position to feel into that area from a different angle? And now right where my thumb is there is an area that really is quite tender. Yeah? So I've pinpointed it. I would normally have done lots of other massage first. Do you think you need more or less oil when it comes to doing things like compression?
Less.
How can you take oil off if you've already got oil on?
With the towel.
Towel, paper towel, tissue. I will actually sometimes lie a piece of tissue on and work through that. So I've got an area here. You can see how it's reddening there. You all right if I work on that?
Yeah.
So on this one, I could use one thumb on top of the other, like that. I'm also aware, by the way, that my thumbnails are a bit long. I meant to do something about that before I started, and I haven't. So I'm conscious to keep the thumb angled so that the thumbnail doesn't go in there, okay? Now, in order to use that supported technique, I'm just going to come in there. How does that feel, Vicky? Is that painful? Take a deep breath in and out. And I'm going to use my body to lean in. Tell me how that is.
It's okay.
Any kind of tenderness?
A little bit.
Yeah, that's okay. It doesn't have to hurt a lot. With that little bit of tenderness, can you just breathe into that space for me? And let me know when it starts to ease off. And I I'm going to do the same. I'm going to breathe and allow everything to relax. So although I'm actually holding that space there, that compression, I'm actually relaxing into that as well, because that generally helps. What I tend to feel is a kind of dissolving of the tension. So under your thumb, or under your fingers or whatever, it's very often a spreading sensation that you get. Okay? Does that feel better?
Yeah.
So
you're keeping the same
I'm keeping the same pressure.
slowly
I'm
increasing
keeping the same pressure. I could have increased it a bit because it was very light tenderness on her. I didn't get the sense that there was any point in that. I'm coming out just as slowly. Sorry about my... That's great on camera, isn't it? But that's why you have to have your nails short, and I really meant to have my nails short before I started.
And if you do go deeper, when do you do that? When they breathe out? Do you then?
Yeah, you work with them. So I say, can you take more pressure on there? And then I would just ease in with that until they say, you know, or 7 out of 10, or whatever we've agreed. Okay? You can see the area of hyperemia now. So see how red that is? And what have I done there?
Improve the circulation.
But I've done so little, right? And that's the effect it's had. So as I've come out, the blood just rushes to that area. It also has an effect on the sensory nerves there. So it gives you, you know, when you've got pain in an area, it alters your awareness of that area when you do compression work. That's what I'd say. You're stretching the tissues, you're helping the circulation in the area, but you're also now giving that person, it's like it switches off the irritability in the area, if it's a trigger point area. It switches off the irritability, okay? The trigger points become like a focus of like, and that's a technical term. And when we do this technique, it really does help to release that, okay? The other thing sometimes is you'll be pressing a point like that and they'll get a referred pain somewhere else. That's a very active trigger point. So when it refers elsewhere, it means it's really active. And I always say, great, wonderful, because people get frightened. That's great, that's fine. You know, let's see what happens. We'll do this pressure and see if that releases that. So I'm not going to show you much more, but you can, oh yes, I am going to show you more. I'm going to show you some, remember we said that we could do the work along the fibres, or we can do cross fibre. So if sometimes you're going to work across the fibres, literally frictioning across the fibres. I'm going to check with her, how does that feel?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I might do one hand on top of the other here. So I'm really deep in the fibres now and going across. I might also work along. Good, good. I might work along with my thumb. When we're doing such deep work, we really don't need oil particularly. And when we're working with the fascia, we don't need oil at all. So I'm quite like working without oil. You're going to work with both. So what I would suggest you do in your pairs is feel for those knots and use the compression technique. And I'm just doing a cross fibre with the heel of my hand now. I'm just wondering what else is on. Can you just stop that?